Hello, I am Taylor, and I'm here with Casey, who runs Surviving Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to go over each of our casts. So, the Surviving Maine Season 3 cast, we're going to talk about, and the Surviving Bloomington Season 5
5, yep.
cast. We're going to talk about that too. It's going to be so much fun. So nice to meet you,
Yep.
Casey.
Nice to meet you too. I'm really excited. I'm like over the past year, I've like kind of dived head first into this LRG community, and I'm excited to see some of these other games. I'm excited to get some videos of my own game out there, and I just want us all to just like be collaborating together and making all of these games as awesome as they possibly can be.
Yes, yay. I agree. I don't have anything to do with the production of the game of Surviving Maine, just the video part.
Okay.
But I would also like all the video parts to support each other too.
Yeah.
Okay, Casey, we're gonna go over the Surviving Maine cast first, yeah?
Yep. I'm
So
excited to. I watched the Meet Your All's Meet the Cast video a little bit earlier today, and there's some people I'm excited to watch play this season. So I'm equally as excited to go through the cast and kind of learn what you know and what your thoughts are before.
awesome.
Do you know what happens?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay.
No, I was
I
there
have
the whole
no idea
time.
what happens.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no idea what happens, so
Wait,
I'm
what?
coming into this completely blind.
Okay, so let's just then and you can watch the meet the cast video at youtube.com/surviving Maine. And we're just gonna like go along with the video, like how the order here. Is that cool? Um,
Yep.
so we're gonna start with the Miko tribe, and Kaya is the first player you're introduced to. So what are your thoughts on Kaya?
So initially, the thing that I kind of like wrote everyone's name down, and I took little notes about things that stood out to me. And the big thing that stood out to me about Kaya was that she said she's not really a big fan of the game, which kind of makes her a wild card in my opinion, because sometimes those people, it's because of their inexperience that people don't see them as a threat and they're able to just skate through. But then other times, as a fan myself, I like working with other fans. You can kind of read the thoughts of a fan, whereas like if it's a new person, you can't always tell like what their strategy is going to be. So Kai is honestly a wild card to me. She looks like she'll be really valuable in the challenges, so it's hard for me to imagine that she gets voted out too early, and then if she makes the merge, she could be going pretty deep,
Mm,
just because people would underestimate her.
good assessment. Yeah. Yeah. Kaya hasn't seen a single episode of Survivor, and she watched one episode of Surviving Maine, like for her friends. So like has kind of no idea what she's getting herself into here. But
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I mean, I've had people like that in Surviving Bloomington in my game, and they've made it. None of them have ever won, but they've made it to like the top four or even into the finals. So like, not having experience watching the show does not mean you're dead in the water, but she definitely has some extra hurdles to jump over that I think the other castmates might not have.
Yeah. Yes, fair. Okay, next up is Justin. What do you think about Justin?
All right, so I know who Justin is.
Yeah.
I have a big fanboy Survivor crush on Justin.
Ooh.
It's like my dream to play with him one day. So I know he's played in a bunch of these games, or relatively a bunch of them. And he won Surviving Reelfoot, right? Like season 10 or season 9 of Surviving Reelfoot.
Yeah. I know he's won at least two games, and Survival Challenge was his first one. And I can't remember if the other one was Millennium Park or Reelfoot that he won.
He's won a Reelfoot game. I think
Okay.
because I played in season 10 of Reelfoot this past summer, And
Oh,
he was I'm pretty sure he was the reigning champ at the time. And
ah,
he did a podcast talking about our season. So
cool.
he's kind of been on my radar for a long time. I'd love to meet him one day. He seems like someone who's super self-aware, and that's like a main trait that you need to do well in Survivor. So um the problem is just his reputation, because I'm sure other people out there know who he is, and it's so hard to tell if people are going to use that as a shield, or if they're just going to be like, you know what, I don't even want to mess with it. If I had to guess, I'd say he might be out if there's a swap, he might get voted out at a swap. I don't think he'll get voted out of his original tribe. Um, but he might get swap screwed, or just be like an easy target at a swap for everyone to agree upon when they're just trying to get their ducks in a row. Um, but I'm pretty sure he's won a Redemption Island challenge to get back in before, or somehow he's gotten back in at a merge before. So I wouldn't be, if you all have Redemption Island, he might make his way deep based on that.
I will neither confirm nor deny a redemption island for surviving Maine. Yeah, he's a bit of a challenge beast, I would say. That's not a
Really?
spoiler. I don't think that's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Any other thoughts about Justin? We can move on to the next.
I do. So I have little stars next to people I think are going to be in the dominating alliance. And so on this green team, I do think Justin will be in the initial dominating alliance. That's my prediction.
All right. Cool. Next is Stephanie. What do you think about Stephanie?
So Stephanie is another person that I have a star with. I can see her making her way into the initial um, dominant alliance. She's a special ed teacher, so she has, I'm sure, like even just dealing with parents of her students, she has the ability to interact with just a wide range of people. And one thing, since I've been getting involved in these games more and more, is the social game is just top notch, the most important part of any of these things. Like if you can have a good social game, that's what's really going to get you through. And I see her getting in socially with a few people enough to get her in that dominating alliance early on. And specifically, I see her working with the guy we're going to talk about next.
Okay. Who are we talking about next? Do do do. It's John.
John.
Do
Yep.
you
So
recognize John?
John's what?
I was just gonna say, do you recognize John?
I don't recognize him, no, but from what I understand, they both work with special needs kids, so
Mm-hmm.
they kind of have that, connecting fiber. And in Survivor, you're always just looking for anything to like, attach you to another person, any sort of common ground. And people lie about the profession all the time in Survivor. So if they're lying about it, then they might not have that connecting thread. But if they both are honest about it, I could see them kind of latching onto each other and watching each other's back. Not even necessarily that they'll be like each other's number ones, but they'll be just watching each other's backs, and they'll be in conversations that the other one aren't in, protecting them. Um, and I don't know, something about John just really stood out to me. I kind of get a vibe that he's going to really know how to play the social game. Um, and so for that reason, I am actually making John one of my winner picks.
Ooh, that's a good
So
one.
I have two winner picks, one person from each tribe, and John is going to be my green team winner pick. Um, as long as he can get in socially, if he can get in that dominant alliance in the first round, and just avoid getting voted out like first or second, I think his social game will be able to take over and carry him for a long way into the game. Those first few rounds are so tough, though. I mean, it's impossible to know if he'll get that early target. And if he gets voted out like first or second, not a whole lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
But if he can make it through those early rounds, then I think he stands a chance of going far, because I get good social game vibes from him.
Okay, awesome. Next up is Caitlin, the rugby coach. What do you think about Caitlin?
Caitlin, so as I was watching the video, I noticed, or at least from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like there's anyone who like kind of bases their life around, like what could be considered like a physical game, you know? And so Caitlin's one of the unique people who like her profession is gonna, as long as she's honest with her tribe, it's gonna demonstrate that like, okay, this is a valuable person to have around early on and a valuable, like meat shield later on in the game. So I'm hopeful for Caitlin to not really have too much of a target on her early on. Do you hang on? Let me look at a picture of Caitlin.
Yeah.
Uh,
If you're in the video, it's at around 6 minutes, 27 seconds. That's where I have it paused right now.
okay. Has she played a game before?
Kaylin played in Can You Survive, which is based in Maine as well. But this isn't a spoiler. I don't think she was medevac.
Oh, she got medevac. Yeah, she was okay. So yeah, so she's coming in with a fire. Like she's
Yeah.
got something to prove. She, especially if you're a freaking rugby player. I mean, I bet that just hurt so bad to get medevac. I don't
Yeah.
obviously I don't know what exactly happened, but if I were her, I'd be coming into this with a little bit of a fire. And I'm sure she knows who Justin is, so I wouldn't be surprised if she makes her way into that early dominating. Like I really feel like people are going to kind of flood around Justin a little bit in the beginning, because he's like just such a presence and people are going to know who he is. Um, and so she probably thinks that she needs some sort of shield because she is a little more physical, and working closely with Justin might be a good way for her to advance, in my mind.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. Okay. Was I gonna say something else? Oh well.
Yeah, feel free to jump in here. I don't mean to be hogging all the mic time.
No, no. Because anything I say, I'm afraid I don't want to give anything away. So I want to say as little
Right.
as possible.
Yeah.
Larry is next. What do you think about Larry? He's so cute.
All right, Larry. Yeah, oh, Larry. So the main thing I put about him was that he seemed kind of timid. So I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure how that's going to come off in the beginning here, because I mean, when you're in these games, that first impression is just so like devastatingly important. And if you're not coming off as confident to your group, then I mean, it can be really easy for people to start, just kind of throwing you under the bus, just as like an initial name. So I don't have too much of an opinion on him as of right now. I'm gonna really have to see in that first episode how he's interacting with his team. If he holds on to that timid persona, he might be able to work that into, like a Cochrane-esque thing where it's like
Mhm.
it's endearing, but I it's that's tough to pull off. Like it to like if you are just kind of naturally a little bit more introverted to step out that early, in this group. So sorry, Larry. Unfortunately, my prediction does not have you in the dominant alliance. I don't know if he would be first, but my prediction doesn't have him in the dominant alliance early on. I hope he proves me wrong. I really do. But I can't say. I just don't really know what to expect from him at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Uh Mary Ellen is next.
Mary Ellen is kind of I don't have her in the dominant alliance. I kind of see her kind of as like the sixth person potentially in an alliance. She seems like she might be very much a like anybody but me type player, which I mean that brings a lot of people success. And kind of like what I was saying with Justin, the biggest thing is you just have to be self-aware in this game. If you can be self-aware in these games, that's what's going to get you through. So like, with Larry, if he knows he's timid and he can play into it, then it becomes endearing. If Justin knows he's the kind of quote unquote big guy on campus, he can play into that and then it becomes endearing. So I think Mary Ellen is going to kind of have that same thing about her where she can prove to her team that she is self-aware and like use that and implement it into her social game. Then I think she might be able to skate through, kind of similar, no spoilers about season 43, but kind of similar to like a Gabler-esque player where like
Uh,
she'll know when to bring her head above water and like do the move that she has to do, and then she knows like exactly when to go right back underwater. So that's kind of what I see. Like I'm looking to gauge her level of self-awareness in that first episode before I can really make too much of an assessment on what I think is going to happen with her.
I like the comparison to Gabler for her. But I think she's a much more likable for me, Gabler.
Yeah, and for the record, I mean that as a compliment
Yeah,
because
for sure.
enjoyed Gabler. I know that whole thing is like super
Yeah,
controversial, and
we won't
we
get
don't
into
need to get
it.
into it. But I say that in a complimentary way, and like I see that as her path of getting through the game effectively and winning in the end is having that same level of self awareness
Okay.
based off of less than a minute of content
Yeah.
that I watched.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I think this is the last one from Miko, and it's Matt.
Oh my God. I have to say, out of this entire cast, Matt is my boy. I
Yeah.
love Matt so much. Um, he's not my winner pick. I did go with John as my winner pick over Matt just because I see Matt as like he might be coming like fourth, fifth, sixth place. He's that guy right there towards the end that like everyone knows if he's sitting in the finals, he wins. We can't let him get there. But I just loved. I felt like he popped off the screen in a
Yeah.
way that like most of the other cast didn't. There's a couple people on the other team I think did pop similarly, but Matt, he was the first one that I saw who really just popped, and I was like, in my mind when I was watching, I was like, if I'm casting anyone on this cast in Surviving Bloomington, Matt would get cast based off of these videos. So
Yeah.
I'm super interested to watch Matt. If me and my friends end up doing any sort of draft pick, I might pick Matt just because I'm hopeful that he'll make it far. But I mean, I'm really excited to see what he does. I think it's interesting that he's a new fan of the game too.
Yeah.
That's one that's one reason why I kind of think he is going to do well because he's not necessarily going to be bogged down with um so I'm a day one fan. I've been watching for 22 years. I've been watching since I was 7 years old. So when I go into these games, I take them really seriously and I take them really heavily, like on my emotions. And like I like it's important to me to do well. And I think that ends up being a detriment. It was a
Mhm.
detriment to me in real foot. And for some people it's great, but for other people, I do think it can be a detriment if we put so much weight and expectations on ourselves where new fans like Matt, I'm kind of thinking like it's not as heavy on his shoulders and he can kind of bob and weave a little easier because he just doesn't have as much emotional weight on his shoulders because he is a new fan. This
Yeah.
isn't a childhood dream of his. So I'm interested. I'm really interested to keep my eye on him and see what happens with Matt.
I don't think he would mind me saying this. He wouldn't mind. He said it a bunch of times. Uh, and it's not a spoiler. He was super high when he did this video, and so he pops even more when he's not high. He's much.
All right. Well, that is that's okay. Now I'm even more excited to watch.
All right, let's go to the Azaban tribe. Uh, and these names of the tribes are from a native tribe from the Maine area. They're names for animals or
Okay.
like legendary mythical animals.
Mm.
Miko is a squirrel and Azaban is a raccoon. Just so you know.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I'm awful with names and stuff, so I just have green team and gray team written
I like
down.
that. That's what I call it in my head.
That's what I like while I'm hosting and like in the moment of hosting, and my tribes have names. I still just call them red tribe and blue tribe.
Nice. Okay, so Andy is first up. What do you think about Andy?
Okay, Andy. Oh, okay. So Andy is actually I need to put a star by his name because he's another person I really want to keep my eye on who I think kind of similar to John. If he can make it through the first couple, he seems like he's got a real good head on his shoulders and he understands like what to do in these games. And to think specifically, excuse me, about him that in his video that he said that really resonated with me is it he said in the beginning he just always wants to be with the group.
Mm,
Like you just if you're always physically standing in a group of people that is the majority numbers, then it becomes way harder for people to throw your name out there. So if he can fall, so the fact that he's thinking about that says to me that he is going in like with his head in the right space. Now, I can say from experience, it's a lot harder to deliver on that than it is to actually than to just like say you're going to do it. But if he can follow through on that strategy, that's going to bode really well for him because, like I said, I think those first like 2, 3 votes are going to be the difficult spot for him. And then if he can make it through that, then his social and strategic game will have the time to shine through and protect him um, on like for the rest of the game, or at least into mid merge ish area. When at that point it's just a toss up almost.
yeah. Okay. Good. 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 Jess is next.
Yes. Okay. I need to look at this person. I have good at risk assessment is the note that I wrote down.
Oh yeah, she's an account analyst, so she does that for a living.
Okay. I mean, hey, that is yeah, okay, yeah, I remember now. So yeah, risk assessment, that is like one of the that's like obviously one of like the key foundations of Survivor, especially just in modern Survivor, when I don't know how much like twists or advantages are in your all's games, but like the more twists and advantages, like the greater you have to be at risk assessment. And uh I don't think she really talked about like the level of risk she's willing to take with people, but if she is that person who's like paying attention to the risk, because no one else really talked about like risk assessment or like risk and analyzation on the cast, not that I remember. So if she's the only one paying attention to that, then that will give her a leg up. Um, Again, she's one of those people I kind of have to see in the first episode and see how she's connecting with people socially. Um, if you work with numbers, the stereotype might be that you might not be the most social person in the world. So we really have no idea. I think there's going to be luck involved in her early game, but later on down the road, I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of like she's in a rock draw situation or something where she has to be the one to pull the trigger on a big risk, big reward move, and I hope she follows through with it.
Okay, cool. Is it Dan? Dan is next.
Man, okay, yeah. So I put down big fan next to him, and it seems to me if I were out there, I would probably start to assume that this means different thing like playing in these games means different things to different people. Some if there I don't know if there's a monetary prize, but like to some people it's win the monetary prize, for some people it's the bragging rights of the winner, for some people it's the experience, some people it's living out the childhood dream. There's a whole bunch of different reasons, and for Dan I kind of get the feeling that for him this does mean a lot, kind of similar to how it means a lot to me when I'm out there. Like it
Mhm.
really weighs heavy on my shoulders. So like Dan is a little bit more in contrast to like a Matt on the other team, where
Mhm.
Matt might be a little like less, there's less weight on his shoulders, so he's a little bit more free to bob and weave. I kind of worry for Dan that he might have that extra weight on him that would make him second guess some of his decisions where his instincts are right. I do believe, based on that video, that he's got the instincts of a good player, especially since he came in saying he wants to be an open book. That is the best thing you can do, in my opinion, as like a big fan of the game. Just be an open book, be like let people know who you really are, endear yourself like a Cochrane, like I can't think of examples like Owen in season 42, or like we want like when people are out there, they're looking for genuine connections, and if Dan can kind of remove the weight of the game from his shoulders and follow through on the open book strategy and just be honest with people in the beginning, I do think people will find him endearing. It's just a matter of if he's going to be able to remove that weight and get rid of whatever second guessing might be coming his way.
Good. Cool. Okay. Delaney.
Oh, Delaney. All right, Delaney's someone I'm excited to watch play. Delaney is actually my other winner pick.
Oh.
Um, So Delaney's my gray team winner pick. I think her being a bartender, I'm surprised from what I can tell, she's the only bartender like
Yeah.
on the whole cast, which is crazy. But that is just like socially, that is massively just such a big advantage because like people don't really think about like you can tell people that you're a bartender and people aren't really going to think about it too much or they'll forget about it. But really, it takes so much social skills to be able to maneuver as a bartender, especially if she's been doing it for a long time. So she knows how to work with not just a lot of different personalities, but she knows how to work with difficult personalities because I
Yes.
guarantee every night she has at least one person that's getting on her nerves that she has to still play with anyway and like talk to get the tips.
Yeah.
So Delaney, I see as someone, she might get swap screwed. Like if she's out pre-merge, I think it's because she got screwed in some way that's like not really her fault. And if she can make the merge, I see like, has she played a game
No.
before?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. Hey, that's in my opinion even better. Like hopefully she can come in and not have, like the emotional weight on her shoulders like I think some of these like I think Dan might have. As long as she doesn't have that and she just like is herself and honestly if she just goes to work, like if she treats this like a night of bartending, she's going to do really well. And she's my winner pick and I definitely see her in the dominating alliance on the gray team
Okay.
initially, along with Andy.
Okay. Okay. So Mike is next.
Oh, Mike. Okay, so Mike's interesting. He's kind of a wild card for me. I'll try to talk quick. But the thing that I wrote down is he said that he works with kids, and he said he gets frustrated with adults easily. So I've
Yeah.
kind of I've kind of latched onto that, and I actually am hoping that he's going to be like the villain of the season. I do not. I hope he doesn't get voted out early. Like I like seeing like I it's kind of hard for me whenever these games we're all such big fans. We know what the right moves are. Like everyone wants to just play this perfectly strategic game, myself included. But like I love it whenever there's the characters who like let real life come into it and recognize like, there's gonna be conflicts that we have to get through. And it's not just this easy, simple, like cold chess game. There's emotions to deal with here. And some people aren't great at dealing with those emotions. So I hope Mike is going to come out as someone who tells it like it is, and if someone's getting on his nerves, at least please give us confessionals where Dan or Mike, where you're letting us know who's getting on your nerves. Please, please, please. So I hope he follows through on that, and if he is following through on that and kind of going down the villain role, then I hope he makes it really far. If he doesn't follow through on that, I don't know. I think he'll be a less compelling character. So I'm hoping he's going to go down the villain route, kind of. Which, for the record, when I play these games, I'm considered a villain as well. So I root for villains.
I don't
Oh,
think you're
I
going
could
to
see
be
my.
disappointed. I don't think you're
I
going to
could
be
see my.
disappointed in Mike.
Okay. I could see Mike finding an idol as well. Out of all of like the idol, I'm not great with idols and stuff, but I could see him as someone who like, doesn't really care if people see him looking.
Okay, cool. Trisha's up next.
Okay, so Trisha is someone who also seemed a little bit timid to me in the video. Again, it's so hard to tell, and I mean, we got less than a minute for each person in this video, so it's so hard to tell. Really, I got to see the first episode and see how she's interacting with people. I do. I relate to her because she said she's wanting to become a therapist and
Oh.
she works in sociology. I work in social work myself, so that's kind of my realm. And I think if I were in the game for that reason, I would latch on to her. But I have also talked to people who like have specifically told me they avoid working with like therapists and people who, because it just kind of has that connotation of like, is this like this person like understands the mind or whatever. So if I were her, I wouldn't tell people that I was training to become a therapist. I would just stick with the sociologist aspect of it. So hopefully she does that. If she sticks with just the sociology part of her life, then she might be able to skate through work her way into that dominant alliance. But if she tells people about the therapist thing, then that might put a couple people on their toes. And not that she would get voted out first necessarily, but they might kind of keep her at arm's length, kind of like what happened to me in Reelfoot.
Okay. um, William is next.
Okay. William is the person who I wrote the most notes about
Ah!
on my papers here. And yeah, I went on a roller coaster watching his video, which was hilarious because like in the beginning I was like, not a chance. This
Yeah.
guy's getting voted out first. That blue hair is gonna put such a target on him. Like peacocking way too hard right now. You do not want to peacock in a game like this. But then he got to talking, and you
Yeah.
know what? As he started talking, I started buying what William was saying. So, I'm probably in the pregame, people were like keeping their eye on him. But if it's anything like the roller coaster I went on, I mean, it's going to take him like an hour to endear himself to people, and then he's probably not going to have too much of an issue. He knows Justin, apparently. I guess they played together in some games, so that'll be interesting. um, I hope he doesn't tell anyone that he knows Justin. He should distance himself from Justin until like some sort of merge situation.
Hmm.
Um, is what I would think. Um, uh, but yeah, I put one of the notes. I put great talker, very smart. He clearly knows he's gonna have a good social game. There's no doubt about it. He also looks like someone who is gonna understand the strategy really well.
Hmm.
Um, oh, and I also love that he said he doesn't care about idols. I love, love, love that he's not gonna base his game around idols. If anything else, he's gonna help other people find idols and use that as a way to endear himself. That's something that I try to do in these games as well. Just kind of take that idle target off of yourself. So I really resonated with that too. And William is someone I have working in the Dominant Alliance with Delaney and Andy as a
Okay.
prediction.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We have
And
time.
last but not least,
Samantha.
Samantha is another person who kind of sent me on a roller coaster while I
Ah!
was watching her video. Because like she came out a little quiet in the beginning, and I like
Mhm.
wasn't really buying it too much. So like, oh, okay, this is another timid person, yada yada. But then she started talking more, and I was like, okay, wait a second, this person knows what's going on. Like
Yeah.
she said in the beginning that her friend forced her to play, and that was kind of a red flag for me. I was like, oh, she doesn't even want to be there. But then she said she's played multiple games, and I was like, okay, no, 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 that's not right. Like she knows what's up. She played in South Africa. Like
Mhm.
did she actually go to South Africa for that game?
Yes, it was this huge fundraiser, and like Bryce Isaiah and Wendell and a couple of South
Yeah.
Africa Survivor players played too. So yeah, she played with all them.
She said she made it to final three. I mean, and
Yeah.
if she's willing to fly out and then make it that far in the game, then that first 10-second impression I made of her, dead wrong. Dead wrong. Um, so she's another person that I have in that dominant alliance with William, Delaney, and Andy. And so I think those four are going to work together, and they just have to pull, and the other four are going to kind of be disjointed a little bit, and they'll pull someone in. I don't know who they're going to pull in, but something along those lines. Obviously, I have no real idea what's going to
Yeah.
happen, but that's kind of like that's kind of where I see things going just based off of the very initial first impressions. Samantha is another person I wouldn't be surprised if she found an idol um, at some point. And she, out of the whole cast, I think is a person who could play the idol correctly. Idols are so hard to actually play correctly nowadays. Um, and she is someone I think who could actually sniff it out at the right time and keep it a secret that she had it. Whereas, like with Mike, I could see him telling people that he has the idol and then, misplaying it at some point. Whereas Samantha, I think she's someone who might actually be able to keep it under wraps. Um, but yeah, so that's my cast assessment for Surviving Maine.
I love it. And I want to say, like, just doing quick math in my head, I think you're like kind of 50% right with someone with your like you're 50% with the alliances. You're yeah. Pretty good.
I'm genuinely excited to watch this. I'm gonna be doing a fantasy. My roommate and I set up a fantasy league for CBS Survivor, like where we have like point system and everything.
Oh,
So
cool.
we're gonna be doing our fantasy league while we watch this. I'm gonna be getting my Surviving Bloomington castmates to watch with you all. So I'm all about us game makers as a community working together to promote all of these games, because if we're not careful about it, it could become like a competition of like
Yeah.
whose game is getting the views, whose game is like the better game to play, and blah blah blah. That is not the future that I want. I love this community and I want us all working together. So it's what, like, I'm going to be promoting your all's game, and I'm loving that we're able to do this podcast to kind of, this first step in working together.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll start a fantasy league for your game with the because I'm in a group chat with the cast, so we can do that. Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is part 2 of our cast assessment with Taylor and Casey. Part 1, if you haven't watched it, you should go back and watch it. We did a cast assessment of the Surviving Maine game, which is when is episode 1 being released?
January 18th.
Okay. Yep. So we did not a quick cast assessment, about 45-minute cast assessment where I gave my predictions and like what I think about the cast, because I have no idea what happens in Surviving Maine. And so this is part 2, where we're going to be talking about the cast of Surviving Bloomington, which is the game that I host in Bloomington, Indiana. This is the 5th season of Surviving Bloomington, and it is an all-stars season. And it's our first time releasing recorded videos and episodes. So I'm excited to answer any questions about the contestants and their past games that Taylor might have. And hopefully this can help get people excited for both Surviving Maine and Surviving Bloomington, which are both releasing episodes in January, February, and maybe March. I'm not sure exactly how long they both go.
Yeah, ours wraps up March for whenever the premiere of Survivor is. That's the day of our finale. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So kind of the way we went through the Surviving Maine cast is we have videos up on YouTube at the Surviving Maine YouTube channel is where they have their cast assessment, and then the Surviving Bloomington YouTube channel is where we have ours, and we're just going to go through in the order that the contestants are in the video, and get Taylor's thoughts. So my game is a brains versus brawn versus beauty season. So everyone was divided into their various teams based on how they played their previous game, whether it was more physical, social, or strategic. And we will start with Boogie.
Yes, that was going to be my first question to you, is how did you decide these teams? So that's interesting. Okay, so Boogie, he's won before. So yeah. My first thought was, okay, he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win again. I was like, this guy should just try to have fun and not even try to win. If he's just trying to have fun, maybe he could endear himself to people and they'll keep dragging him along. But like, if he's the type who's gonna push himself out there and be like a leader strategically or physically. So beauty is what?
Beauty is people who had to base their game on social time they played, or one of the times they played.
Yeah, so I don't see him going too far, honestly. I think he would be but then I was looking at my notes and I was like, I wrote pre-merge boot for like almost everyone. I was like, well, this isn't right. This isn't right at all. So these short videos are so, I'm going to be so wrong about everything, I'm sure, because yeah, I don't know what else to say about Boogie.
Boogie, he has basically like a maxed out social game. That is like his thing in these games. Is he just that camp life social game is where he thrives. And just before moving on, I will mention this on a sad note, but I do want to pay respect. Boogie, since the season filmed, actually has passed away.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Boogie.
So
holy shit.
This season, I've been putting a lot of work into the editing of this season, and we're dedicating it to Boogie. and we're dedicated. We're also a charity event, and we're going to be um, allocating certain funds to a new charity in Boogie's name moving
Oh man.
forward. So, yeah, it's this is meant to be fun. We'd all know that Boogie would want us to enjoy watching him play, and I really I believe it comes through in the edit, and I'm excited, so excited for people to get to know Boogie and thriving in his element. But I do want to also pay the proper respects, and um, we all miss him a lot.
Yeah, damn, dude. That's
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, so moving forward, we have Brianna.
Okay. So Brianna, at first, I was like, the roller coaster you went on, I went on with Brianna. So she was a previous first boot. Um, so I was like, okay, she's a pre-merge. Maybe she could be swap screwed. And then as she got into her strategy, I was like, oh, she's like onto something here. This is a really good idea. She was talking about working with some people who she knows hasn't played and pulling them in. Now I think, yeah, at least two of those people are on her starting tribe. So
Mhm.
that I don't know. I hope she can make it work. I'm rooting for Brianna right now. Like because I like that strategy. And I hope I don't know if her social game is good if she was a first boot. Would like I don't know why they voted her out first. Was she not good in challenges? Like, hmm.
Yeah. Also, another thing about her first game is she actually got voted out with an idol in her pocket.
No, Brianna. Well,
Yeah. So she's coming back. She's someone who's coming back with something to prove. She's got a fire under
okay, I like
her.
Brianna. Yeah, yeah. Brianna will make the merge and she will go far. Mark my
Got it.
words. Okay.
uh, okay. Next is Jordan.
Okay, so Jordan, I like Jordan. Um, love the tattoos. Um, but they were a little bit light on strategy. So I don't know. I don't know if they have a good strategic mind. However, a lot of people end up saying they want to work with Jordan. So I think Jordan can still go far. On the same token, though, there's a couple of people who mention Jordan as like, Jordan is the player to watch. We got to get Jordan out. I don't remember who. Some big dude that I wasn't a fan of, I think.
I think Rosie might have said that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
have a question about Rosie, but we'll get to Rosie.
Okay.
Um yeah, I don't know what to say about Jordan other than I see them working with another person on this tribe, Devonte, and there are people on other tribes that want to work with Jordan. I think Jordan can do well,
Mhm.
but has a threat. Like there's a target there, and so they're gonna have to do some work to
Yeah.
stay.
Jordan was one of the big names coming in to this group of people because she played in the year previous. She played in season 4, and she was like one of, if not just like the big power player of the season.
Really?
She could probably be compared to like a Shan from season 41 of just
Okay.
like really running things, but like it got to a point where she was running things so hard that everyone knew they had to get her out.
Okay.
Um, so
Ugh.
that's why she came in as one of the big names because a lot of the people like from like seasons 1, 2, and 3 watched season 4 like live, like they came and helped out on crew. So
Oh,
they watched Jordan as like this big name on campus, and like they all knew she was probably going to get invited to the All Stars and stuff. So
Okay. Did
she's
did
one of the big names coming in.
did Jordan make merge? Is that like first jury member?
No, she got voted out at a double elimination. She was on the merge. Yeah, she made out the merge, but yeah, she had a really tough situation. It's hard to get into, but basically she gave her idol away and then someone used the idol to get her out.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. not
Yeah,
not for
so
Jordan, but I love that.
yeah, she's another person coming in with some fire, and like she
Yeah.
felt like her game really got cut short
Mhm.
unexpectedly her first time.
So that could be disastrous, and she could just totally blow up and sputter out early.
Yeah, that's why in her video she was talking about like I think people know my reputation, which is a disadvantage. She's like, if I
Okay.
could just make the merge, then I'll be happy.
Uh,
Um, all right, so next is Connor.
Connor. Okay. What I wrote was like, what does cook with gas mean? His t-shirt says cook with gas. I'm just like, what? So Connor looks like a dude, bro. He looks built, like big boobs on Connor, like strong ones. But I wrote merge boot for Connor. I think Connor can be really valuable in challenges for this tribe. Although it's kind of a physical tribe, actually. Um, yeah, I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna maybe dominate. Because I don't think the Braun tribe will have the brains enough to. We'll see. We'll see. But I think Connor would be a good merge boot because he seems like the kind of guy everybody likes and can get along with. He didn't seem arrogant or cocky, just like, a dude that
Mhm.
I could get along with, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
Connor is someone he hasn't played Surviving Bloomington, but he played in a game
mhm,
called Survivor PCT, which
mhm.
is actually a game that I played in.
No
So
way.
him and I have played together. Um, and the best like CBS Survivor that I can compare him to is Parvati, because he has like a weird maxed out social game where like when you're
Oh,
taught when he's giving you his attention, you feel good. It's
oh
like, whoa,
no.
this guy wants to talk to me, like this guy likes me, that's awesome. So like it's just kind of one of those like natural social games that he
Yeah.
like doesn't even really have to try to achieve.
So he's got that charisma. He could go
Yeah.
far. But I mean, people could and will probably realize like uh oh, he's got those sparkly eyes when he talks to me and makes me feel so good. He's a threat.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, I like Connor,
Uh,
but he's making the
okay.
merge, but not going too far. That's my
All
prediction.
right. Next is Devonte.
Devontae's so cute. Oh my gosh. uh Okay, I like Devonte. So I said Devonte would go far and randomly wrote sixth place. Sixth place. Because Devonte made second place in their first season. Are Devonte's pronouns he him or they them?
He, him.
Okay.
Everyone on our cast uses traditional pronouns.
Okay. Somebody a Sparky, I think, used they them for someone and I couldn't figure out who Sparky was talking about. So anyways. um uh okay, so Devonte has this vendetta against Adam. Is that right? Adam.
Oh yeah. The
I
season
really
threeers, all of the season three people have
They
like
hate each other.
weird relationships. That's the only way I know how to describe, just rivalry relationships basically. Like sometimes one day they love
Frenemies.
each other and the next day they're ready to fight it out.
Okay, I like Devonte and I'm rooting for his side over Adam's side, whatever that means. If that becomes a thing, I really hope it does. I really want to watch that become a thing. That's all.
Uh,
Okay. And I think Devonte is going far. I didn't
Cool.
have any winner picks. Yeah, yes, I did. I had one.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay. Well, you can tell us when we get there. Um, all right. So next is Hannah. Last but not least on the Beauty Tribe.
Hannah. Oh, yes, who also has not played Bloomington, but played Survival Challenge, which is a big game with big challenges as far as, they're like
Yeah.
physical stuff. And fourth place. So, but oh, and I'm saying Hannah will go far. So Hannah's interesting to me. She seems like into like diverse, like meeting diverse people and getting to know people, but then she like is really attracted to the cross that she sees on someone else, like, oh, an obvious Christian, like, probably there's a lot of Christians, but like this is America, so I
Yeah.
don't know. It was just such a weird thing. I was like, okay, Hannah, this
Uh-huh.
isn't church.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the like dark sheep coming in because she was a very last minute alternate. I mean, we're talking like
Ah,
days before the game started. I had someone drop out and just posted online, anyone looking to play? Because I need a spot filled. And she was one of the
mhm.
first people to message me. And she's clearly very charismatic and outgoing and like ready to talk
Yes.
to the camera. So I was like, all right, yeah, if you want the spot, you can have it.
Yes. So like I was kind of like, she could be a first boot, but then I ended up writing she will go far, seventh place. I don't know what it means, but that's what I wrote.
That's what your gut is telling you.
Yeah, my gut is telling me Hannah's going far. I think she can be really likable to a lot of different people. Yeah. I don't
Hmm.
know.
All right. Next, we'll look at the brains team.
Yes.
And first off, we have Griffin.
Griffin. So you talked about some like more subdued, quieter, timid people. And Griffin, I wrote quiet nerd. And I mean that in a complimentary way, as a quiet nerd myself.
Uh-huh.
Griffin seemed really timid, but didn't he go pretty far? Third
Yeah,
place.
he got third place in season 3, so he's one of the season 3 people.
So that confused me, but I'm still saying Griffin's an early boot. For first like 3 episodes, he's out of here. That's what I think about Griffin. But I don't know, because he looks like he could be a physical player too.
Yeah,
Maybe he's not as timid, but I don't know. He seems really timid. I don't know.
yeah. In his first season, so we do Redemption Island every year.
Mm.
Like that's a known factor to everyone who plays. And his first season, he won Redemption Island to get back into the game.
Okay,
So
so I'm right about the physical.
so that prediction actually rings true, at least with his first game where he was voted out kind of early but made his way back in, and then that's how he made it really deep into the game.
And will you have Redemption Island on this season too?
Yeah, so Redemption Island, we only do Redemption Island at the merge. We don't do it any
Not
other
after.
point in the game. Yeah, and then like I said, we're a charity event that raises money, and raising money before the game starts gets you advantages in Redemption Island to help you get back in the game if you get voted out.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So everyone knows there's a Redemption Island challenge because that's how we incentivize people to raise money.
No one's going to be surprised when everyone voted out pre-merge comes back at the merge and like battles in front of them. No one's going to be shocked.
Yeah, right. Okay, so next is Stacy.
Stacy has played 20 LRGs. What is wrong with Stacy? Stop it. Stop playing. No, that's amazing. Like if you are having so much fun and you just want to keep playing, like, yeah, dude, like this is a good hobby. This is a
Yeah,
fantastic hobby. So
Stacy
I love
Stacy was
Stacy.
an yeah, she was another person who was a last minute alternate,
Mhm.
who just responded to that. And another one of those people just like Hannah, where like she just pops on screen, like she's not afraid to talk to the camera. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you got a spot. Come on, please. And
Yeah.
it's so funny. since she's played, like I've met so many people who know Stacy. Like that is like
Really.
the name that like everyone in the community recognizes. So I'm actually really
Everyone's played
excited.
with her. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have gotten her on the cast. If for no
Awesome.
other reason, I think she's going to be a big rooting interest for a lot of fans just because she's so recognizable at this point.
So I have her as a pre-merge boot, but I hope she's not. Yeah, I don't know. I
All
don't know what to
right.
say about Stacy.
Yeah, I mean she's never played Surviving Bloomington, so she's not coming in with any prior relationships, and it's just a matter of if she could use that to her advantage or if other people are going to use that against her.
If anyone could use it to their advantage, I think Stacy can. I think she can.
Okay, next is so in the video that's currently uploaded, we have Sparky, but she is preferring to go by Megan, so we're gonna
Ah,
change that, and it's just gonna be Megan from now on.
okay,
Megan with an H.
because there's another Megan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Megan with an H.
So
Hello,
Megan,
Megan.
I like Megan. Fourth place before. And that season 4 is not the weird one. Season 3 is the weird one, or is it? Am I backwards?
Season 3 is with the people who are all competitive against each other.
Okay,
Season
okay.
4 is like
They like
the
each other
new
more.
kids on the block.
Okay, okay. So Megan, will make the merge. That's my prediction. So Megan likes Jordan and thinks Devonte's a big threat. So I don't know if that's gonna work because other people are saying Jordan and Devonte would be working together with other people. Oh no, that's James. I'm so confused about all these names.
There's such a web of like relationships. There's
Yeah.
no way you could get it all after just one video.
Yeah, and who even knows how it's gonna all pan out? But so in
Uh-huh.
this tribe, I don't know. So I think Megan is one of those that could go either way. Like, could be a first boot, could be like the offbeat character in this bunch. Yeah, now I'm leaning that way. Oh no. Or could be just so likable and valuable in challenges that she goes far. Megan's hard to read. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. In her first game, um, there was basically kind of a in the final four challenge, there was like a controversial call on who won that challenge.
Oh no.
Um, so I stand by my decision. I'm the referee. I get to make the call. But there are some people, if you talk to them, who might say Megan should have won the final four challenge of season 4.
Uh-huh.
Um, which it's too much to get into right now, but I like the argument does make sense. But I stand by that she did not win that challenge, and there was a really emotional final four tribal council of season 4, so that's why she's kind of talking about like, um, people didn't think she didn't wasn't taking it seriously her first time when she really
Okay.
was, um, but she just like wasn't contesting my decision on the challenge, and so she's kind of gotten some heat amongst other players about that and like that.
Like
So
that she should
she's
have been like yelling at you that you're wrong or what?
yeah, I guess like fighting for her spot a little bit more. And it's too much to get into. If you ever get a chance to talk to her, I'm sure she'll be glad to talk about it, but from her perspective. But I say all that to say that she is someone coming into this game with a fire and something to prove, because just like the abrupt ending of her first game has made her want to prove some things to some people.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Well, still one of my
And
favorites.
so
Yeah.
all right, next is James.
Okay. So James is also, I did write the same quiet nerd comment. Sorry, James. It's a compliment. Uh seems super timid, like quiet person. Um, and this is the Brains tribe, so that seems right.
Uh-huh.
But came in 5th place season 1. So this could just be, nerves of, right before the game starting, seeming nervous. So
Yeah.
um I also have written down his strategy of pretending not to care seems really bad. It seems like a really terrible strategy, and I hope he doesn't stick to it because it seems like not wise. But who
Yeah.
knows?
So James, he's one of my like really close friends in real
Uh,
life, and so he played in that season one, and he was kind of um the mastermind behind a lot of
oh,
what happened in season one. So he has a very like Steven Fishback-esque, Rob Cesternino-esque analytical view of the game of like
mhm.
this is a chess match. I'm finding what the correct move is, and that's the move that I'm gonna make, and other people can get on board or I'll vote them out. Like
So maybe
so
not the best social game.
he would probably align more to the strategy. Like
Yeah.
in the triangle of social, physical, and strategy, he maxes out his strategy game before his
Okay.
social game for sure.
Okay. Good luck, James.
Okay, so next is Dallas.
Dallas. I want to like Dallas, but I'm worried for Dallas. I I don't have high hopes for Dallas, but I'm hoping he can prove me wrong. Um, and the thing that got me to think maybe he could prove me wrong was when he was talking about, he did more preparation this time. So he was eighth the first, oh no, ninth, and then eighth. Okay, so he
Yeah.
could come in seventh place this time. He seems more like a social player than a strategic player. So if he has both, maybe he has both equally, then maybe he could do really well. I don't know what, if you're voted out that kind of late, then you must be doing something right. Um, so hmm, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
about Dallas.
Dallas is a really interesting one. He's another one of my friends. Like he's part of like the fantasy leagues and stuff that I do, um, and he's had a roller coaster like in these games. His first time playing, he got voted out with two idols in his pocket.
No, not James. No. Oh my God, Dallas, why?
Yeah, so yeah, that he's coming. He's got like I mean that was his first game. And he both of his games he got voted out. He was one of the boots at a double tribal council. So
No
like
way.
coming into the game, he was always talking about I just want to survive a double. If I can survive a double, then I'll be happy.
Yeah. Oh, I hope you
um,
do.
and Dallas, no spoilers or anything. This was my pick before the game happened, but Dallas was my winner pick. Was
Okay,
one of my winner picks.
interesting.
Yeah, because his social game it really is on point. Like he is a very, very likable guy. And like
Okay.
I said earlier in the other podcast, I think the social game is far and away the most important component to a good player and someone who like actually stands a chance at winning the whole thing.
Okay. Dallas, fourth place. That's my final prediction on Dallas.
Okay. And then last but not least on the brains is Elisa.
Yes. Okay. Elisa. This one is my winner pick. I have challenge beast question mark. Is she
Oh
a
yeah,
challenge? Yeah.
absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh,
She's won
and
two redemption islands.
yeah, I'm just now seeing that. Okay, yeah. Okay, Elisa, but could be a threat. People could see her as an obvious threat, which could be good if she could be a shield for other players. And I hope that happens because she is my winner pick. Um, oh, and she's the one who wants to work with James, who is on her tribe, and Devonte, who is not. So yeah, I hope she can make something work with James. Who else would they want to work with on this tribe? Maybe Dallas, maybe Sparky, maybe Stacy, maybe Griffin. I don't know. I think Lisa has huge upside and not that much downside. I think she's gonna go really far, and my winner pick. God damn it!
Yeah, Elisa was my other winner pick. Like I said, I always do two winner
Ah.
picks, and my two winner picks going into the season were Dallas and Elisa. And she played in Survivor PCT with Connor, and
Oh,
that's the same game that I also had played in. Um, and Elisa and I used a hidden immunity idol to get Connor out at the final
ooh.
six. So
Oh
there's a
no!
little bit
Oh
of
no!
a
So he's not gonna like her. Oh
there's
no!
a bit of a vendetta there.
Oh no!
And then Elisa and I both made it to the finals of that game, and we both lost. We ended up splitting the votes, and the third guy just kind of squeaked it out just
Oh
enough to
no!
beat us.
Oh no!
So she that's the most recent game that she's played, and so she's another person who's coming in with like she's ready to win one of these things. She's been to the finals twice and lost both
Dang.
times. So she's
Mm.
ready. She knows all of the right things to do, and she's ready to capitalize on those and get rid of some of the wrong things she's done to lose votes in the past.
Yeah, so let's hope she can, and maybe has learned how to give a more convincing, final tribal speech too, to
Hmm.
win some uncertain people over. Okay, I
Yeah.
have high hopes for Elisa.
And now it is time to look at the Brawn team. And we will start with Meredith.
Meredith, is it the camera angle or is Meredith very short?
He's very short.
Okay. I relate as a very short person myself. I was like, oh, she's small. Okay. So Meredith, here's what I like about Meredith. So is she like a super physical player? Shorties tend not to be. I'm not athletic at all. I don't know. I mean, she's on the Braun tribe.
Yeah, so she does a lot of like backpacking and adventure
Ah,
type trips. And she's definitely very helpful in the challenges. So that's kind of been her story. Like she was the merge boot in season one of people were like, let's like she's she had kind of a lot of times in Survivor, especially like with balancing challenges, they can favor the smaller,
yes.
strong body types. And that's kind of where she lands of like she doesn't have a whole lot of weight on her and she can move that weight around easily. So like if there's any climbing challenges, she's like a big threat.
Mm. Okay, I regret this now, but I said she's going to be the first boot. I hope I'm.
Oh, okay. Here's your first boot prediction.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But here's what I like about Meredith. She says she's wary of Adam, but would work with him, which, like, my dream. I don't think I would ever play an LRG, but my dream would be to befriend, like, get in an alliance with the biggest dude that I wouldn't get along with in real life at all, and be their best alliance member, number one ride or die, and then just like viciously cut them and send them packing with like no remorse. And I want Meredith to do that to Adam.
You're gonna live vicariously through Meredith,
Yes,
hopefully.
yes.
That's funny.
Don't let me down.
Okay. Who's next? Rosie is next. You said you had something to say about Rosie.
He's like, my name's Andrew, and then it says Rosie. I was like, is that a typo? But then,
Yeah.
Adam calls him Rosie, or he refers to a Rosie. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
his last name's Rosenberg. So
gotcha.
he got I think he was Andrew in his first season, but he got the last name distinction this time around.
Okay.
Everyone calls him Rosie throughout the season, so that's why I made it just his name.
Yeah. So seventh place. So that means his first time playing, they probably got rid of him because he was a physical threat.
So his
No.
first time his first time playing, he was really in tight with Jordan. That was like
No,
his big
he
thing.
says he doesn't want to work with Jordan.
Well, he knows how good she is.
Oh no.
So he was in tight with Jordan, and then when Jordan got voted out, he kind of was out on an island and didn't like he said in this thing he kind of
Ah,
latched on to other players. He's talking about he latched on to Jordan, and when
ah,
Jordan left, he didn't really know what to do after that,
oh
and just kind
no.
of left a couple rounds later. And so that's why he's saying this time he wants to have like his own footing and not be so reliant on another person because if they're gone, he needs to still be able to do something, you know?
That's good. And I think that will serve him well. Something hilarious is that he wants to work with Devonte and Adam, who like are sworn enemies and who want each other out. That's so funny. So Rosie finds a different alliance. Latch on
Maybe
to
well,
other people.
maybe he'll be the connecting factor. Maybe he's the
The
missing piece.
peacemaker. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
I thought maybe like Connor could be a merge boot.
mhm. Yep, that's fair. All right, next is Adam. Adam was one of the big names coming into this because of his winner status in season 3.
Adam is very cocky and arrogant and thinks he's really funny. And I would have a really hard time being in his presence. And I don't think that I would be the only one who would feel that way. But he won, so he must actually be endearing. Maybe he's the kind of guy who would rub some people the wrong way at first and then just win them over with his he's like very good natured. That could win me over, I guess. Uh and being a big dude, I'm sure he's very valuable in challenges. You always need a big dude in those tribe challenges. Um or big lady. Um yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's going far. I think he's out pre-merge, but maybe his tribe dominates, and if there's a swap, he sticks with people who don't want him out. Um but I like Boogie. I don't think he has any chance of winning or making it far enough to even get to the final 3.
Mhm. Yeah, Adam is a really interesting character in the lore of surviving Bloomington.
Oh,
Um, uh, he's actually really quiet. Like he's a really quiet
shut
guy.
up. No. What?
Yeah,
He's just like in confessionals, like, wah.
yeah. The
Oh
way he
my
acts in
God.
confessionals is not how he acts like in the group setting.
Shut up.
Um,
Oh no, I would
and
love him. I would love this guy. Oh no.
I think you would. That's the
Oh
thing. Like
shit.
when you first meet him, you do kind of he's this big guy with tattoos. He's military, got this massive beard. Like you're thinking like oh he's gonna be like a villain of the season
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like maybe Russell Hantz too aggressive. Yeah, he does have an aggressive competitive side to him, but for the most part, he really is a pretty big gentle giant.
Wow.
Um,
You would not
and
know that from this.
yeah, not he this time he's coming out to have fun because he's very self-aware. That's the thing about
Yeah.
Adam is he knows like I'm one of the only winners, like the chances of me winning this thing are pretty slim, so I might as
Yeah.
well just have fun and like,
Good.
I'll play it up for the cameras. Um but he does have him and Devonte's rivalry is very real. That's like the biggest, it's like the Boston Rob and Russell Hantz rivalry of surviving Bloomington.
Oh man.
Um
And
and
Devonte's the Russell Hantz, right?
Yeah, Devonte is the
Yeah.
villain. I was originally going to do a heroes versus villains instead of brains versus brawn
Oh,
versus beauty, and they were going to be like the
the
poster
captains.
child for it. Adam was going to be on the heroes, and Devonte was going to be on the villains.
Wow.
But
I had them all wrong. Okay.
what's really interesting about Adam's first game is, if I remember correctly, it was only possible to vote him out one time in the entire game.
Oh my
Every
God.
every other round, he had some sort of immunity. So that's why he has such a huge target on his back, or like is such
Okay.
a big name coming into this because everyone knows he's like a massive challenge beast. He's really good at finding idols. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't sleep. Like in the video when he said like I'll be up all night, I don't sleep. Like
Yeah.
that's legit. Like he
Oh
doesn't sleep.
no.
Just like always like looking for idols. So yeah, Adam, he's really interesting because like he kind of comes off as someone who like is just really quiet, kind of playing passive, but he's like he chooses his moments to like throw the punch, and then he like fades back into the background, and it's an interesting play style, that's
Wow.
for sure.
Yeah, wow. Not what I
Especially
thought
since
at all.
especially since he doesn't really pop on camera in the same way that like a Hannah or a Devonte would, where
Yeah.
like or like a Matt in your all season would. Matt was
Yeah.
his, yeah, Matt. So I, I'm not sure if his personality or game really comes through on screen. So I'm going to be really interested to see how he's taken in the fan community
Mm-hmm.
that watch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wish we could watch the other seasons, but I know it's
Oh,
really
me
hard to film.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had any footage, I would totally show
Yeah.
them. But I'm in the edit, I try to talk about these things and like let the viewers know about where the various relationships are.
Cool.
Um, so next is David.
Megan.
Oh, did I skip Megan? Oh,
Megan
I did
Wolf.
skip Megan. Megan Wolf.
Okay, so Megan likes a couple of people who are not on her starting tribe and strongly dislikes Adam and Devonte both. This could be a really great thing, right? Because if they're going at each other, then Megan doesn't have to do anything. She could just watch it all explode and move on. I initially was not high on Megan, and then as I watched her continue to talk, I was like, okay, maybe like she actually has. So I mean, she has, I think, for Megan, I would say maybe she's equal brawn and strategy, brawn and brain.
Yeah.
Because she seems to have a good head about her. So yeah, I could see Megan going far. If she can find the right people to work with, because
Hmm.
it might be hard
Yeah.
for her on this tribe.
Yeah, Megan, she came in fourth in her season, and the reason she's against Adam and Devonte is because they both got her out, and that like she really thought she had it locked up going in, and then was kind of
Shit.
blindsided right there at the end.
She's the Rob
Um,
goddess. Okay.
yeah, so
Vengeance.
you're very right that she's kind of a almost a triple threat in her own right of like she's very good socially and very good
Mm,
strategically, and she's no slouch in the challenges either. So she's
okay.
just kind of one of those people where like you know you can go in expecting her to not be a passive member of the cast at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. Good. Good luck, Megan.
Um, yeah, and I liked that I put her and Adam together. I wanted to see. I like putting people with like conflict together and see how they work through it.
I hope she like pretends to really want to work with him at least. Like Meredith. Ooh, she could get with Meredith and then they could take him out with Mia and David. Okay.
All right, David.
David, I love David. Okay. So it looks like it looks like David does way better each time he plays. And so I'm saying fourth place for David. And he's the Rob
Hmm.
goddess of the season. Um except that he also seems like he might try to make a big move too soon and could burn an ally too soon, like overcompensating for prior seasons. But he's smart. Maybe he won't do that. Oh, yeah. And he wants to work already. He wants to work with Meredith and Mia. So, like, lucky him that he has this potential pre-made alliance, potentially. Um, and he wants to work with Jordan, where other people just see her as a huge threat. Uh, so that's cool. That's interesting. Okay, so was he the one? No, that was somebody else. No, he was. Was he the one that had a chance to work with Jordan late in the game and then didn't? Or was that? Am I thinking of the wrong person?
Yeah, yeah, yep,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, with David, he's really interesting because he's someone who does not watch the show. Like
No.
he has played the game like pretty much blind every time. Um, and so
Gosh.
he has like really, really good strategic instincts. In the past, I've always told him that he second guesses himself too much. Like if he would just go with his instincts, then that's when he thrives. And in that game, kind of what happened was Jordan was offering him like a really solid position and move in season 4. And he decided to go against her and he voted her out. And then
Mm,
he like ended up losing because he like basically stuck to his alliance that he was at the bottom of.
yeah.
And he should have pivoted and joined Jordan's side. And so
Yeah.
now that's kind of why he's saying he's interested in working with her, because she was right last time. Like he should have worked with her last time and they both would have made it a lot farther.
Okay. I wonder if they'll end up
So
linking up. I don't see it in the
yeah.
cards for him, but I see him going really far. I don't know. I really like David. He could even win. He could be my other winner pick.
Oh yeah, I love David. He's such a great guy. He's so fun and funny, and like he's one of those guys where like I was saying during the surviving Maine portion of the podcast that like if you can steer in like whatever your mindset in Survivor is, if you can steer into it and just like make it endearing, then that makes people want to keep you around. And David is the guy who like steers into the fact that he doesn't watch the show, he doesn't fully understand what's going on, and so like it really makes him endearing to the group, of
Yeah.
like,
Cool.
but in reality like he is very smart and like kind of like
Yeah.
putting on a face for the group.
I want to talk to David and ask him, how could you play these games and then never watch? What is wrong with you? It's the greatest show in the world. Watch
Coming
Survivor.
into it all.
You
It's
fool.
so funny. It's just so David though. Like if you did meet him in real life, you would immediately understand. You'd be like, okay, yeah, that's David. That makes sense.
He watches zero television. That's why. Okay. All right.
um, all right, and last but not least is Mia.
Not least. Okay. So I didn't write much about her. Why not? Oh, yeah. Okay. So she's like a little bit older, but not really older than anybody on her tribe. She's probably like my age. And hmm, did she say this? I, did she say something about teaming up with teaming up with David and Meredith to get big guys out, or did I just make that up in my head?
She might have said that. I don't. That sounds. She worked with David in her first game, so probably she said something like that.
Okay. Okay. Um yeah, so I think me is the type of player who would be in a good alliance and then kind of get lost in it and be expendable to other people. That's how I see Mia, as like a good player, but if she could be more assertive and a leader, she could go further.
Hmm.
But
That's
fifth
accurate.
place is really far. Okay.
Yeah, she was another person who she gave her idol. She had a hidden immunity idol at the final five and gave it away and got voted out that tribal council.
What do you
So she's another person coming in with some fire under her to right some of the wrongs that happened in her previous game.
do? Oh
And
no.
she's also just like the wild cards of wild cards in terms of personality. Like she is
Really?
just so eccentric and all over the place. Like the only person I really know to compare her to is I know we don't really talk about season 39, but do you remember Nora from season
Oh,
39?
I remember Nora.
Like
I met
Nora.
her.
She's
Nora's really
oh
nice in
yeah?
person. Yeah.
Yeah. Mia's amazing. I love Mia. Like whenever I did her first interview, like back for season 4, like she was someone who just got cast immediately because
Nice.
she just pops like crazy anytime you talk to her. And she is amazing, but she is very much a wild card inside of the game. And so
Okay.
I loved putting her with this like brawn group who like are kind of like more grounded, like more
Mm.
solid people. And then they've got Mia, just this like fairy dancing around all of them.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh, I'm really excited to watch this. This is
Yeah.
great. Was it over 4 days?
Yeah, 4 days. We do our. How long is Maine?
4 days, yeah.
4 days. Okay. Yeah.
Sweet.
It's 4 days, and yeah, over a weekend. So yep, there you have it. There's both of our cast assessments.
Now join our fantasy leagues.
Yeah, seriously, do fantasy leagues. Let's build each other up. Let's do more of these podcasts. Let's make this community even better.
Yeah, for sure. And you can contact me on Twitter or Instagram at MJT the PhD if you want to join the fantasy league for Surviving Bloomington All Stars, and I will set that up.
I'll talk to my roommate about getting a fantasy league set up for Surviving Maine, and then
Yay.
yeah, I mean, if we can get a bunch of random people involved in that too, that'd be awesome.
Cool, man. Okay.
All right. Well, it was great meeting you, Taylor. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah, same.